Well, first of all, tons of credit to Western Kentucky and their game plan and their competitiveness. I told our players after the game that this was obviously a hard-fought win, and it was nothing to be ashamed of the fact that it went to the wire, because I was so impressed with them all week long in watching film. I knew that they would present problems for us from a matchup perspective, and I thought that our team in the second half, we made some adjustments, moved to a zone that helped us break their rhythm a little bit, but I also thought that we quit turning the ball over in the second half and started attacking, and that was really ultimately the difference, is that we didn't turn it over much in the second half. Proud of our players for hanging in there, though, because it wasn't easy, and first game jitters, and I thought we hung in there with it.
Questions for the student athletes?
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Imani, you guys would get a momentum swing and then they would come back and hit a three. I mean, did it feel like it was tough to really sustain some momentum when they were coming back down and hitting threes on the other end?
Yeah, I do think that they're a really good team. Like, their post players were really stretching us, and I got to give credit to Gooch and Govin. Like, they were playing really well, and they were just shooting lights out. It was really frustrating because as soon as we would get some offensive points and score, they would come back down, and we wouldn't be able to shut them down from the lane or from the three-point line. So we just tried to string along some stops, and eventually we were able to do that.
Rick Cantu, the Austin American Statesman. Imani, you didn't start the season because you were injured. And I noticed in the second half you were exhorting your players. You were yelling at them in timeouts and on the floor and trying to get them going. Do you have that sense of urgency that Coach always talks about?
Yes, I think I do. I'm really enjoying playing. I think sitting out is really hard, and it's not fun. And I think, like, at the end of the day, we're still playing for Nakia, Diani, NECA. Like, they would give their lives to be able to play with us right now. So we can't not give everything we have when we're out there.
Brooke, you didn't start, but you were there in crunch time. Did you have it in your mind that you wanted to be the person to get that break, the transition game going? Especially at the end, it looked like the transition game was working really well and you were leading it.
Well, I just went in and did whatever I could to help the team. I wanted to win, and I knew the rest of the team wanted to win. And so we had to get some momentum, and so I just tried to do everything I could. And the team, they bought in, and we all bought in, and so that's where we pulled away.
Imani, what did you think they wanted to do with you inside? You were getting double teamed. You had a lot of people inside there kind of collapsing on you.
I think they did a really good job of pulling me out when I was on defense. And on offense, they kind of collapsed a little bit, but we've been practicing all week on keeping the ball high and just turning and shooting if I get good position. So my teammates were doing a great job of passing me the ball when I was in good position. And if I was collapsed, I was just trying to find an open man.
For both of you, several games this year, you guys lost it at the end. How much do you think playing in those games benefited today? Because you were down 7 or so with about 5 minutes to go.
I think it helps a lot. Like, personally, when we're in the huddle in the last, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, and we're down, I'm always just like, we've been here before. We've come back from 6, 8 points with a little bit of time left. Like, we have that fight. We know we can do it. So I think it's good knowing that we are able to do it and we have that experience.
Oh, sorry. Like Imani said, I think it's just the experience that we have. We know how hard we have to push at the end because we have lost in games like this. And so, we just thought back to that every time we were in the huddle, and we said that we had to push, and that's what we did. And so we came out to win.
Anything further for the student athletes? All right, thank you both very much. Questions for Coach? Michelle?
Karen, what's the value of a game like this to start the tournament?
I think it's good in several ways. The players mentioned that they've been in these situations a lot and in conference play, and sometimes they haven't worked out for them. So I think from a confidence perspective, they made a lot of plays in the second half, and a lot of individuals made plays that helped our team win. We also made some adjustments midstream in the game that they had to, like Brooke said, sort of buy into. This is what we need to do right now in the moment, and let's not think, let's just do it. And I think that will help them, obviously, in further games. But the first game's always hard. I think it's a hard one. We had several players that haven't been in this tournament before because we are a young basketball team. So I think to get this one under our belt is really a huge confidence booster for this team. And obviously every game we can play is a positive for this program.
Karen, Imani started. Is it just because of the way she's been playing Big 12 tournament and you thought she was the right person today?
Yeah, and I mean, you've followed us all year long. You can see that it was a completely different starting lineup than what we had been going with. And I went with a lineup that I thought was experienced in the tournament. That was one thing. But I also, in speaking of Imani in particular, I did think that she played really well in the Big 12 tournament, but she carried that over into practice. So quite honestly, the 5 that started were rewarded for practice habits the last week, or not, I don't want to say habits because our team practices hard, but their performance in practice was pretty good, and I felt comfortable with that lineup. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay with it very long because they got in foul trouble.
What would your mindset with you're down 7 late in the game?
Well, I have to first of all give credit to my coaching staff because I'm stubborn, and it irritates me when we can't guard someone, and we clearly could not guard them from a penetration standpoint and the way that they were stretching our big post players out. And our coaching staff is the one that said, let's try something different and go to a zone. And we tried it. I did not go with my gut at the end there and should have gone back man maybe one possession a little quicker than I did, but I do give them credit for convincing me that we needed to go zone because it was clearly the difference. And the players, obviously, for on the fly pretty much going into it. And there was some bumps that they had to talk about and all of that. I thought they were really engaged with something that we really haven't done very much. So clearly told me that they were interested in winning.
Just, I think they averaged 5 threes a game.
Yeah.
Were you either amazed or surprised, or what's the word for, what are they, 13 or 14 or something?
Yeah, they had 12. And
Or
we're
12.
actually a really good team defending the 3. So, again, I just think that they are really good at what they do. They're not complicated. In fact, I think they ran the same play the whole second half against our man, and it's not a complicated play, but they execute. And their guards are good at stringing you out. And, again, I mean, their post players had 45 points, so that's pretty good. It was just, I knew it was going to be a matchup problem. And we did work on some zone a little bit this week, but going to it helped us in 2 factors, 2 different ways. We were able to play the big lineup also, which I thought was a positive for us from an offensive perspective. We were able to play Kelsey and Imani together.